necessary requirements of going through old data, old price charts, old moves, and finding their model. Because I can't, and no other educator can press every single person into a mold that fits everybody's personality. It doesn't work that way. That's my personal belief. And if someone's successful in doing it, I would love to see it. I wouldn't have anything bad to say about it. I just know that I personally can't do it, and I've never seen anybody else be able to do it. Trading's too difficult of a task, and it needs to be personal. It needs to be unique, and it needs to be form-fitted for your personality. And backtesting, what that does, it gives you a safe environment to go through. If there's anything that's valid about a model or a methodology, it should be readily available in terms of going back and look at data and say, okay, there it is. It's absolutely right there. It's undeniable. You can't argue with it. It's there. It can't be manipulated. It can't be masqueraded as something else. It's exactly what you expect it to be. And also observing when that model may not be profitable, where you may have made a mistake, and not look at it and sugarcoat it. So, well, yeah, I probably would have got out before the stop loss died. No, use it as an encouragement, saying, okay, even if that was the case and I would have taken a loss there. Because that's what many of my students, and these are paid students, what they had done early on when I was telling them to do this, starting in 2016 when I did mentorship for the first time, the number one complaint was, I don't know if this is going to work for me because this is where I like to see it work, but it always fails in other places when I try to do it real time. Well, number one, you're trying to trade before you know what you're doing. Did you see how many times that your model you're trying to look for failed in backtesting? Well, it never failed in backtesting. That's bullshit. That's bullshit. Even one of my best models fails as losing trades. It's not perfect. And if you compound that difficulty, because you have the uncertainty of not knowing when it's not going to work, which is why you have to have a stop loss, which is why you have to have impeccable risk management. You have to have these things. You want to be a professional trader, the number one tenet is preserve capital. That's the first and foremost rule. You have to be able to do that. If you can't do that, it doesn't matter how good a trader you are, because if you're super accurate, doesn't matter. Super accurate is not perfect. And the imperfect, super accurate trader that over leverages will draw down. If you're trying to be a professional trader or a professional fund manager, people don't like to see a lot of volatility in their equity curve. They don't want to see that. Some of you folks out there that share your MyFX books and things of that nature, you know, it's nauseating. If you're going to view it from the lens of a professional fund manager, you would not stay in business with anyone with those types of equity curves. So what I teach is an excellence in mindset about how you have to be diligent about keeping risk very, very small, where it removes all the emotion, it removes all the necessity about being right. So what you're doing is you're taking the best environment in beginning and placing yourself in that where it's safe. You can't lose money. You can't lose and you can't make money. And the only thing you're trying to do is teach your new fledgling mind as a trader to see that these things do in fact repeat. You can set your watch to it. At this time, this is what should happen. How many times did that thing happen that you're supposed to be studying in the last 20 days? How many times did it occur in the last 40 days? How many times did it happen in the last 60 days? And if you don't have the access to that type of, well, for instance, some of the smaller time frames, you can't access that far back. But what's preventing you from doing the next 60 days? Because every day, at the end of the day, you have a new day to do a back test on. Go as far as you can looking back, but at least have 60 days worth of it. I'm not saying that that's all you should have, but 60 days, you have the minimum criteria for finding something that I teach in your silver bullet. Look at it. It's there. Whether you're trading the London session, the morning session, or the afternoon session, there's a silver bullet every single session. Every single session it's there. And I read these people that say, oh, well, it failed here. You don't know how to trade it. That's all. You don't know. They're looking at things through a very short-term exposure to it. They think they watched the videos, therefore they know it. They've done no back testing. They've not collected enough sample sets to prove that what they're looking for exists. Number two, that it fits their personality. I'll give you a perfect example. I put 12 models out, okay? 12 of these things in my paid mentorship. All of them make money. All of them. But they're highly demanding in terms of what needs to be there before that trade can be taken. It's not an everyday trading model. It's an every week trading model. Every one of those trading models speaks and operates on a week by week basis, at least one trade setup. Well, that's not what I want to do. I've seen you trade multiple times in the same day. Yeah, well, that's me doing multiple models. You can't start with that in the beginning. I didn't start like that in the beginning. But you need to have one thing that you start with. And it might not be your end model. It might not be the career model that you stick with for the majority of your life as a trader. So what's the benefit of doing it, Michael? If I'm not going to pick the right one in the beginning because I want to pick the right one, I don't want to waste my time doing something that isn't really meant for me to do. Well, what you're saying is you don't want to make it an investment in yourself. And right there, that already reduces your probabilities to less than half in terms of success. Because if you don't have the mindset that you're willing to do it, number one, do what? Backtest. Go through old data. See if these things occur. And which one do you gravitate to? In the beginning, it might not be the silver bullet. It might be something else. It might be the simple optimal trade niche. It might be the model 2022. It might be something else, simple breaker strategy. But until you apply yourself to one thing, looking for it, going through old data, seeing it, you will never have the opportunity to see what your personal character flaws are, where you have to expose yourself to uncertainty in the safest format. And that means in backtesting, where the moves have already happened, you're conditioning yourself to look for these repeating phenomena. That way you can't even paper trade it. You can't do a demo trade. I mean, I guess you can if you want to do like Forex backtest or something to that effect, or trading views, market replay. But I don't even think in the beginning you should be touching that. But you feel like that's what you should be doing because it looks like a video game. Wow, this is what it looks like when I'm in there. No, it doesn't look like that at all. It's faster. It's scarier when you don't know what you're looking for. You've never been there before. It feels like the first time you got on a roller coaster. It's like, man, what's it going to be like? What's it going to feel like? And you're worried about all your potential reactions to what you're going to experience versus this is what I'm supposed to be looking for and this is all I'm supposed to be focusing on. You can't train your perception to filter out all the other things. And that's what you don't understand. When I tell you, if I'm asked by any of you through either trading views, direct message, or tweets or responses in my comment sections of my videos, how did you pick that one? How did you pick that one right there? How did you know it was going to do that? It's because I went through a long period of conditioning myself, looking for very specific things. And I know that answer doesn't satisfy many of you that are brand new. It feels like I'm hiding something from you, but I swear to you, it's because I've exposed myself to repetition, like exercise and building muscle with weight training. You have to do it over and over and over again. You can't just go into a gym, join a membership, and start lifting the heaviest weights you can do and do as many repetitions as you can and walk out and look like Arnold Schwarzenegger. Not even in a week, not even 90 days, not 120 days either. Can't even find yourself looking like that in a year. It takes time, but you have set forth in motion the expectation that you're going to go through that process to get you to that level of professionalism, whether it be a bodybuilder, a weight trainer, a surgeon, a pilot. You chose to do this. And I'm going to humbly submit that you have chosen the path that has the highest degree of difficulty that there is. You're competing against the shrewdest of minds in a corrupt industry that's absolutely 100% manipulated, controlled to the smallest degree.